What's going on, Trojan family? Welcome to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. We are Los Angeles Sports, and this is your daily dose of USC football news. Been a while, missed you guys. I teased it on the last video. Took a 2-week-long cross-country road trip with the family. Not that maybe you guys don't care, but just quickly, we went from LA to Zion, Campton, Zion, then drove up to Yellowstone. Campton, Yellowstone, absolutely beautiful. Then drove over to South Dakota and camped the night at Mount Rushmore. Then from there, went to my grandparents' lake place in Minnesota, spent the week there with a bunch of family. From there, drove down to Omaha to visit the #1 zoo in the United States. If you have never been, I didn't even know it existed. I just assumed San Diego had the #1 zoo, but Omaha's claim is the #1 zoo, and it lives up to the bill. Pretty awesome. From Omaha, went to my folks' place in Denver for a night, and then last night at 1 a.m., parked our Jeep back here in Los Angeles, and right away I was like, I got to get back on the mic, talk to my Trojan family. So hope everyone's been great. A little bit of news happened. Luckily for me, it was a quieter 11, 12 days. It started off really noisy, or should I say with a big stream of news, and I haven't even got to talk about it. I won't spend a ton of time on today's video, but Luke Wafel, as you all know, officially a USC Trojan. Huge commitment. I was en route with no service. I have T-Mobile, and T-Mobile I think is one of the top carriers out there. For sure in LA, I've never had any issue, but I don't think you'd have an issue with any carrier here in Los Angeles. But in middle of America, or at least in national park country, no service anywhere. So I was having trouble just even staying up on updates. So I was in the middle of driving from Zion to Yellowstone. Or let me start with this. I was driving from LA to Zion when the last video I did was about, officially I was saying, hey, I think Luke Wafel to SC is kind of a done deal. Our good friend USCJ kind of gave his crystal ball prediction. Some other national reporters had felt really good about it. People I talked to were like, yeah, this thing after his visit was seemingly done. He just wants to wait to get back to New Jersey to announce. Well, while I was driving from LA to Zion, all of a sudden it's like, well, a little change of heart. Change of heart being Ohio State up their NIL offer, and USC is no longer the front runner. Now it's looking like before he announces on whatever day it was now, it was like a Tuesday, Ohio State's going to be the name or the school that Wafel commits to. So it's like, oh, okay, well, that's a bummer, but hey, that's the way this thing's worked now. USC's done it. You're able to up offers and, kind of with the back and forth of NIL. And obviously Ohio State's much closer to home. So it was a bummer, obviously. Felt like a big loss, big opportunity there, but, you move on, right? There was other KJ Ford. There was other potential recruits that USC could still kind of go after. Well, not so fast. If Chad Bowden has showed USC fans anything, it is how important he is in this new era of recruiting with NIL, relationship building, deal creation, negotiating, basically what a college GM is tasked to do. And I've heard other recruits talk about it. It's not just NIL. It's the relationship. It's how he kind of forecasts the future for players. But anyway, so it seemed like waking up in Zion after a windy night of no sleep that, okay, here in a few hours, Wafel would be announcing his commitment to Ohio State. Well, Chad Bowden clearly was like, nah, not on my watch. He's back on the phone. Whether it was an upped NIL deal, whatever was happened, all of a sudden, SC back in the driver's seat. And sure enough, Luke Wafel, during his announcement, commits to the USC Trojans, bringing the Trojans to 30 total commitments as of right now. Still, this was over a week ago that happened. Now we're on June 30th, the turn of the month, official visit month now coming to a close. And USC sits with 30 commitments, the #1 recruiting class in the country. So I won't talk a ton about it, but I just have to say, this Wafel commitment to me is the true indicator for the rest of the nation of where USC recruiting is. I think this Wafel commitment and Mark Bowman's commitment are probably the two that were like, okay, yeah, USC's not messing around. Not that this is no disrespect to any of the other. I'm not even listen to where I'm going with this, because obviously the commitments of Elbert Hill, Kenai Pepe, Sean Alston, and then we just go in the in-state with Tamahuni Tapui and his flip, Jonas Williams and his like, all those show USC, but the two of Mark Bowman and Luke Wafel, I think, are the two biggest indicators to the nation, not necessarily maybe to USC fans, but to the nation of like, oh, yeah, USC, not only are they back in terms of recruiting, but they may be the toughest NIL arm in college football, because both those two guys were really not on the radar for USC, at least in terms of national recruiters and insiders, until late in their commitment process, right? USC kind of came, like, Bowman was all SEC, Texas or Georgia. Obviously, Oregon and others were lurking, but that was kind of Bowman's like, yeah, that's going to be a Texas or Georgia guy. Wafel was Ohio State or Penn State, with also, the usual suspects, Texas and others lurking. Then USC kind of comes into the fold and is like, okay, yeah, USC is making a little push. Their coaches are building relationship. And then it was time to lay the hammer and bring the negotiation to the table. USC laid the hammer and got it done. And those were two big names that reportedly each got two pretty massive NIL deals based on rumors and reports out there. The USC said, we're not going to be, this is who we want. We're making it happen. And that's kind of the indication they're making with this class, is like, hey, whoever we want, we're getting. And I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again. What's been really exciting, intriguing, and intentional about this 2026 recruiting class is, if you remember, even just last year, like, you're always going to miss on guys, or not even miss. There's just, you're recruiting. It's not like, there's going to be guys that decide, you know what, love what you offer, but my gut wants me to go here. Even as last year, right, when they do the commitment videos where they have the hats in front of them in other schools, or when Hayes, Fawcett, and those other guys kind of drop, like, oh, this guy's, top 3, and USC's in the top 3 or top 6 or top 10. Like, there were times last year and in years past when SC was made that final pairing, but then another school was chosen. Now, there have still been times this year where guys like Hayes Fawcett has put out on his graphic, like, oh, this player chose Georgia over Texas and USC and yada yada. Like, he still put that out there, but based on everything we've kind of been following and reporting, is much more so this year, it's been USC's decision, kind of, if they're signing a guy or if they're moving on. Like, usually if USC is in the final 3 for a guy and then ends up not choosing USC, it's pretty much been because USC says, you know what, we're going in a different direction. Or maybe they just, behind the scenes, kind of were like, you know what, this isn't going to work. But it was never like where there was 3 choices and the guy just said, you know what, I'm choosing this other school. It was usually the negotiation. USC was involved in the decision, like, yeah, you know what, go for a different school. We're going to go in a different direction. That just shows kind of the power of where they're at right now with recruiting. That they've seemingly they've been the one making all the decisions, not like making offers, then like, fingers crossed they pick us. It's kind of like, hey, here's the offer. Do you want it? No, you're still want to debate? Okay, go ahead. We're moving on. It's like that scene in Draft Day, right? When the Seahawks, at the very beginning of the movie, when the Seahawks GM is talking to Kevin Costner and like, hey, what do you want or do you want Bo Callahan? And then he's like, well, let me think on it. I'll call you back. Calls him back. And the guy's like, oh, we live in a different world then. And then Kevin Costner obviously does it at the end of the movie. It seems like USC is kind of doing that. Like, here's the offer. Do you want it? No? Okay. And guys they really, really want, if they kind of go back and forth, like, okay, let's up it. Let's up it. All right, you're coming here. We're making this happen. You are coming to USC. So I'm rambling a little bit. Biggest indication of that is Ryder Lyons, right? Who, while I was gone, ended up committing to BYU, which is kind of a big win for SC in the sense that, hey, if you're not going to go to SC, just don't go to Oregon. And he ended up going to BYU. But that was a perfect indication of that. He had been to campus many times. Brother plays for USC. USC offered him a very good deal. They wanted him to be their guy. He couldn't really decide. He was still going back and forth. So SC basically said, you know what? We're moving on. We're looking at Peyton Houston for the 27 class. We got our guy for 26 and Jonas Williams. It's best for you and us if we just go in a different direction. We obviously know the same thing with Xavier Griffin. The reports, the announcement was decommits, but in reality was they both decided to part ways, and we know Xavier Griffin ended up committing to Alabama just yesterday. Shocking, which all of us saw coming anyway. So it kind of worked out in the best interest of everyone anyway. So long way of me just saying, like, SC is the one playing all their cards this cycle, and they are truly in the driver's seat, which should be very scary for the rest of college football. If they can get it all together and put wins on the field, then this could be a dynasty that is being built for the future moving forward. So we got to see it play out. But hey, as of now, June 30th, there's a lot to be excited about for USC fans. Quickly, I just want to mention real quick, because there hasn't been a lot of recruiting news outside of Wayful. The two ones to watch for, which I'll have more videos coming here in the coming days. Elite wide receiver Boobie Feaster, elite wide receiver Jalen Lott, both out of the state of Texas, at least in terms of high school. Feaster's originally from Louisiana. Feaster's announcing his commitment July 4th. I'll be honest, probably not, regardless of what he does, I probably won't have a video out on July 4th, but July 5th we'll have coverage on LAFBnetwork.com and on this USC LAFB channel. Things are looking good. I would say it's kind of gone back and forth. Both visited the first weekend of June to USC together. Out of the weekend, everyone I've talked to, plus others that have put stuff out there, was, hey, USC feels really good about at least one of these guys committing. I still feel like that's the case. I think USC will get one of these guys to round out their wide receivers for this 2026 class. As of right now, June 30th, I would lean Feaster over Lott. A week ago, I would have leaned Lott over Feaster. So both camps are being really kind of quiet. I think both have ties to USC, both have desires to USC, but both obviously have, ties to Texas, and obviously Oregon's right there in the mix, as they will be as well. So we'll see if I do another video, or I will do another video before, but as of now, I would say I'm leaning more Feaster committing to SC and Lott probably committing elsewhere. However, you also don't want to rule out that both could commit. I don't think that will happen, but there is a chance that both end up committing to USC. Now, the question is, if that were to happen, does that push out one of the other receivers? So if both do commit, is that going to push out the likes of one of the already commits, Roderick Tizino, or I don't want to even put names out there because these are guys that are actually committed. That'll be a question. So I don't see that happening, but there is a chance. And I have heard and talked to that, hey, they feel good about maybe getting both. So we shall see. Both elite receivers, both great, and would both fit really, really well with this offense and with this team. And, Boobie Feaster has a really strong connection with Peyton Houston, the 2027 quarterback, who USC is kind of going all in on for the 2027 class. So that's there's that rumor that, like, hey, USC's all in on Houston. The two guys do want to play together. Remember, Feaster was originally in the 27 class. So will it be wherever Feaster goes, Houston goes? In which case, SC will be like, hey, we want to make sure we get Feaster here, so then we're lock in Houston next year. We shall see. That's what I'm hearing. I would lean Feaster over Lott, but it's close, and I do think SC gets one of them. And anyone should be thrilled with either one. So that's all I got for now. I just really wanted to catch up. It's been a while, so not a ton of news. I'm sure most of you know kind of the landscape of what's going on, but if not, there's a quick little update, and I'll be back with more updates. Again, we're trying to make this a daily thing, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button here at the USC LAFB YouTube channel. All of our USC content is over at LAFBnetwork.com, so make sure to check that out as well. If you want any merch, we got some USC merch. I'm launching some more here in the next month, so head over to LAFBnetwork.com and just go to our shop. And also, we have launched a USC message board where I'll be dropping some intel now and beyond throughout the season. I'm Ryan Dyer. This is the USC LAFB show. As always, fight on.